Hi, I'm Matt with Schematical, and with me, as always, is Dominic DeMarco. And
Hap-
welcome.
Happy Tuesday. I am coffeeless this time. I'll have
Yeah,
to
well,
change that
it's
here.
it's like 8 p.m. there, isn't it?
It is, but I mean, I usually have coffee for these, but I'm between points A and B, sitting on a bench next to the river.
I just realized I got the wrong camera going on too. Sorry about
Well, I don't think anybody's going to be too terribly offended by that.
that. Fair enough.
So, what are we going to talk about this week?
Oh, let's see. Today, we're talking about open source and AI slop, as they say. So I don't
Hmm.
know if you're familiar with Jeff Geerling at all. He's a YouTuber.
Only what you've shared with me.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber and he's not usually one that just, freaks out and talks about drama and stuff like that. He's actually very much instructional. Does a lot of cool networking stuff and
Mm.
really an engineer. And he was talking about an incident or several incidences where bug bounty programs had to shut down because AI generated bug
Mm.
fixes and stuff like that were coming through at a crazy rate, and they were just complete garbage. They weren't actually doing
Mm.
anything. And same thing with open source. The open source projects, this is a very interesting one because there's not as much financial incentive there. Is
Mm.
they were submitting pull requests to open source projects at an alarming rate, and again, just garbage, just AI slop, and then harassing the original or the people that were the moderators for it.
Well,
And I'm
I'm not the
skeptical.
least bit surprised. I am not the least bit surprised. In fact, this is just a natural evolution of two things coming together. You got things like Claude Code, which say we can code anything, you don't need developers anymore, and LLMs that were trained on Reddit, right? Because
Right.
you said the people were getting argumentative, they were being belligerent. Well, they were trained on Reddit. So I mean, it's kind of the natural evolution of where you would expect this. Now that everybody has access to, running these various AI tools on their machines or in the clouds connected to their machines, they're going to test them to say, okay, I wonder how good this is. Go do something on open source. I mean, it's one thing to work on your own code, but there's massive, massive numbers of open source databases out there. Can you hear the ambulance?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay. It's like the bird of Rome. They're everywhere. Um, but how else are you going to test the quality of your code writing AI tools aside from just letting it go at something? And open source pull requests is just a natural evolution.
Now that's an interesting take. They're attempting to fine tune an LLM and using whether or not the pull request gets accepted or not as the criteria for success. Is that what you're
Mhm.
implying?
Yes.
That had not occurred to me. I was wondering what their motives were. That's not a bad motive. That's a horrible way to test it. Those poor open source people that are now dealing with that
The,
garbage. But
the mods that work for free, yes.
yeah, that's interesting.
Because it
Well,
doesn't cost anything. Well, I mean, aside from your tokens or your compute time, but it costs you nothing to submit a pull request. If there was some sort of you have to give us $2 for every pull request, and we will give you $2 back when we approve it, you'd see a 90% cutback in the amount of pull requests, at least
oh,
fraudulent I mean, not fraudulent, but slop pull requests.
I agree with that. I was actually thinking of. I mean, that's actually quite brilliant, but an interesting. Financially, I'm curious how that would work because some people that would be cost prohibitive to enter the market with. But with that said, I was thinking more of scoring people based
Mhm.
on if I'm an open source maintainer, kind of like a two-sided marketplace, like I
Mhm.
assume Fiverr, oh my gosh,
or
Rate Your
or, or
Driver,
even
Uber,
even even
you
Reddit
know,
karma. Like you need so many
yeah,
karma points.
and you could get voted down, yeah.
Yep.
That's something I was thinking about there. That
Because I
that
mean,
might be a solution.
there's plenty of subreddits that won't let you post until you get so much post karma, meaning you actually have to
Oh,
participate in the subreddit before you're allowed to post to it.
don't
You can
I know it?
comment to it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I can't. I can only submit to Reddit/Programmer Humor where my comics get all that
Mhm.
success from an old account I had as a angsty teenage gamer, which is named horribly, and not the new schematical one because we don't have enough karma
Well,
with the pretty schematic
I
one.
actually tried making a post earlier today, in fact, to we get this subreddit wrong, but where in the world am I? Because I was in a tiny little town, and I'm always shocked by how people can figure this stuff out. Like somebody always figures out. I'm like, nobody's gonna get this one, but I didn't
Are you
have any
saying
post karma.
geoguessing? You put an image up?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some. I try not to watch this too much, but I recently discovered that's a sport or an e-sport, to say
Mm,
that the least. And I was blown away by people's ability to actually do that. It seems, and they
hmm.
narrate it, so you're watching them not actually like they're not looking
Right.
at some meta information in the image.
They'll look at like the subspecies of grass to get a geographic area of where somebody's at. Yes, it's absolutely crazy. But I imagine people are also training various AI tools to do that as well. So um, where there used to just be trolls on the internet, it's now going to be AI slop trolls everywhere, everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting. I'm
Anyways, back
concerned.
to AI slop. I'm sorry,
Well,
you had tangent.
yeah,
Take
yeah.
it.
I was going to say I'm concerned about the effect it's going to have on cybersecurity. Those bug bounty programs
Mhm.
and all that. With that those serve a valuable purpose to hunt down and find bugs before the bad guys do. And so the hearing those shut down in a time where cybersecurity is even,
Mm.
the activity, cyber attacks are even more heightened than ever before, is concerning. I wonder.
Well,
I
I
wonder if
guarantee you the bad guys are scanning all of the code as well, looking for ways to be nefarious.
Yeah, I
We're
wonder
mm,
if the bad guys are launching some of these bug bounty spam attacks. Because if they
to slow
spam
down
those
the.
and then no one,
Mm,
yeah,
wouldn't surprise me.
yeah, interesting
But I
stuff.
mean, I think it's just as funny that the submitters of the pull requests, the bot submitters of the pull requests, are getting belligerent and aggressive.
Yeah, that makes you want. So I actually wondered if that was some. I said in the article, is it some neckbeard caffeinated up to the
Mm,
brim, just getting all uppity about it? Because I'm working with some of these guys on Fiverr right now, and they'll, if
mm,
you don't message them 10 seconds after they message you, they'll check. Hey, you still there? You still there? It's like,
mm.
yeah, I got 10 things going on here. So I wonder sometimes, how they're qualifying that this is a person and not just some new hepped up on caffeine. But I suppose if you've got numbers on it
Mm.
from previous, interactions, and it's just going through the roof right now and it's responding faster than humanly possible, you got a pretty good idea
Well,
here.
well, I mean, I mean, to that point, I mean, so how many video editing or graphic design or thumbnail requests come into Fiverr on any given hour, day, minute? Choose your time frame. I guarantee you, people have written bots that are out there responding to hundreds of them
Yeah.
and soliciting hundreds of them. But I mean, this is just the next evolution of mouse and mousetrap, right? I
Hmm.
mean, I'm sure these AI tools, and I've done zero research into this, and this is probably something worth talking about. Is CAPTCHA effective anymore, or how is CAPTCHA evolving? How is Cloudflare evolving? Because I'm sorry, just sliding a widget all the way to the right or checking a box. Um, Now I understand humans do not move that slider at a consistent speed, but how much does it take to teach an AI to variable speed that slider across the page to look like a human?
Yeah. I don't know. It depends on the software they're using to bypass these systems and spam us. So if you're
Mm,
spending, $100 to try and win $1,000 bug bounty prize, and you win, at least half the time, your ROI
mm,
is, $500 on a hundred.
mm. Something along those
I shouldn't
lines.
do math
400,
on a call,
right?
but
But you're
um,
saying they would net 400, which seems a bit high, but yeah, I see where you're going with it.
but if you're investing $100 in tokens and you're not, you're not getting, maybe you're getting one out of 1,000
Mm,
bug bounties or something like that, and each bug bounty costs you $100 to submit, you're upside down. So I
mm,
wonder just how long it is before the market kind of calibrates, and until tokens drop in price again,
mm,
we just find a thing where they say, okay, we tried making a profit in a weird way, a crooked way, and but we just found out it's
mm.
not worth it. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But if your motives are, it's just stopping cybersecurity from happening, so you can bypass it another way, and then it becomes much more convoluted.
Well, I also imagine there's a million computer science students and other, I don't want to say noobs, but people learning new technologies out there that have strong graphics cards in their computer that are just trying to do this at home and figure things out.
Yeah, well, and that could be why it's Slop. You could be running a model on your, like, I can run certain models on my desktop here,
Mhm.
but it's nothing compared to those, beastie ones that they've got the reasoning models that you can run
Mhm.
elsewhere. I can barely get my local models to make tool calls appropriately, versus, if I run something on AWS Bedrock, it's much easier to
Mhm.
get it to do what you want. So,
I haven't played with any of AWS tools, but I have been extremely impressed with how far Gemini has come, at least the thinking model on Gemini, and Notebook ML, which we talked a little bit about. I don't think we talked about it on the stream, but we talked about what we can do now with Notebook ML and infographics.
right. No, you're
And
saying
what
that.
was it, a year ago, 18 months ago? If you asked any sort of AI tool to give you text, it spit out gibberish. Now
Mhm.
it's doing beautiful, contextually correct infographics.
Yeah, I mean that's impressive. I'll say
Mm,
that you're getting better results than I am in certain use cases.
mm.
But yeah, I
I
still
mean, look at my blog post from just a couple days ago, and the infographic is brilliant. And I said, here, consume this blog. And that even go a step before that. There was 4 or 5 different videos that had some really good content in them. I went through those 4 or 5 videos. I pulled my bullet points out of them. I'm like, consume these videos. Here's the things I want to talk to. Here's the things that I think make the most sense. Here's the things that I think are important. Now write a blog post. And then I edit the blog post heavily, but all the same, it takes care of the bulk of the writing. And then with the finished blog post, I say, okay, now render me an infographic for a header image for LinkedIn.
nice. Now I'll admit it. I mean, even this post that I did here, I used AI to generate the thumbnail for it. I wrote the
Mm,
post myself. Okay, there's no AI
mm,
involved in the post writing process for me, at least on my end.
mm,
But the photo that was the thumbnail, because I'm not a graphic designer and I don't have one on staff.
mm.
I did use AI for, so, and I just realized that there's some slop in it. Like the programmer's got an extra hand in there. Just as I'm staring at this thing out of the corner of my eye, I'm like, oh my
Well,
god, how did I not
what
notice
tool did
that?
you use for that?
That was Gemini, so Nano Banana.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to
Try,
play around, side note from this, but if you want to play around with AWS Bedrock at all, I can get you access to my account and mess around with it, burn some tokens, don't spend too much. But
mm,
it's not as consumer friendly as
mm,
everything else is, because it doesn't need to be. It needs to be API consumed by API first and
hmm.
foremost. But it's cost effective and it's pretty darn good. So I
Okay.
wouldn't put it in charge of my entire business, but for little tasks, it can do them very reasonably priced. Um, yeah. So another just kind of side note, just as we're entering the end of this, is
Mm.
I found out today. Are you familiar with OpenClaw at all?
I've heard of it.
It's it's
It was in that
basically,
video that you sent along as well. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
it kind of broke the internet in some ways because it is like an AI tool that basically will just keep going until it's done. I mean, it's more to it than that. But on the plus side, like you can give it a lot of control over a lot of stuff, and it'll just keep hammering on it. It's not like N8N; it just keeps kind of just going with its own decisions. On the negative side, there's a ton of security holes in it because it was vibe coded up in some capacity. I don't think it was
Mm,
strictly evaluated security wise, but some people are finding it very useful. Well, AWS on their AWS Light Cell, which is basically GoDaddy, it's
mm,
their simple version. You VPS, you don't need to know about firewalls and all this other stuff.
mm,
You just spin up a box. Well, they released OpenClaw on that, and it so now you can spin up your own instance on AWS. Now that's interesting and all. If you're going to run a tool like that, don't run it on your local machine. If you are going to run your local machine, containerize it so it can't access
hmm.
all your stuff. So there's good parts of it that, hey, it's in a more secure environment than if it's running on your laptop, which you could delete your file system or something like that, or send your tax documents to who knows. And
Well, I mean, also, I could imagine you could spend a lot of money on AWS if you don't put some guardrails on it.
well, but here's the genius thing. So the open Claude is provider agnostic. You can use it
Mm,
with OpenAI, you can use it with Gemini, you can use it with whatever, as far as I know, anything that can do the OpenAI router, or sorry, the open router, not OpenAI router, but
mm,
um, so you can use it with quite a few things. But the AWS version comes pre-installed with it to point to Bedrock. So you are
mhm,
absolutely correct. Not only does AWS make an hourly benefit
mhm.
for that instance running, but every token this thing with disregard, just
Subscriptions
throws
on
out
top
there.
of subscriptions.
You got it. They're making money on top of money. So it's like, man, I should buy more AWS stock.
Well, you can't buy just AWS yet. There's been
I
rumors for a
wish I
long
could.
time that they should split the companies apart, but haven't heard rumors of that recently.
No, I can't speak of that one, but if I could buy AWS specific stock, I'd darn well
Mm,
consider it. So, yeah, I thought that was brilliant. So, should you use OpenClaw or not? I can't speak to that yet. I'm hesitant because of the security issues, but I've got
mm.
friends that are using it with some success. So, I'll keep my eye on it. But if I am going to do it, I'm not going to run it locally. It's like that post hasn't gone out yet, but the meme is that world's most interesting man. I don't always run OpenClaw, but when I do, I don't run it locally, so it blows my stuff up. So yeah,
I'll have to
should be
see it.
interesting.
It's got potential.
They all have potential. It's just well, it's kind of like the .com thing. We'll
Mm,
see who the victors are at the end. No one knows till we
mhm.
get further on. But with that said, I appreciate you hopping on with me, Dom.
Always a pleasure. How can
I
people
know
get a
you're
hold of you if they've got questions about AWS, machine learning, OpenClaw, anything besides AI slop, perhaps?
well, I'm glad you asked. You can find me at schematical.com. We've got our consulting there. We've got our group coaching. We've got a bunch of free resources for people. We got all my writings. We got some comics there if you want to laugh. So yeah, that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. If you need help scaling up your infrastructure on AWS in a cost efficient and secure manner without the AI slop taking you down, please reach out. With that said, I'm Matt
Cheers,
with
all.
Schematical. Have a great day.